Throughout the course of history, we have seen the human population struggle with its relationship with drugs and alcohol. The legalization of these substances can have both positive and negative effects on individuals, but how much is it really affecting our community as a whole? The Great Gatsby takes place in 1922, right before the Great Depression in 1929. Alcohol was banned in America from 1920 to 1933. This unlawful use of alcohol in America and legalization after the ban reminded me of our current situation in Canada, with the recent legalization of cannabis in October 2018. Today I will be discussing the positive and negative impacts of the legalization of alcohol in America during the Roaring Twenties, comparing and contrasting it with the legalization of marijuana in present-day Canada. I will also go over my own views on both situations. To start off, I will analyze the positive impacts of the legalization of weed in current-day Canada in relation with the banning of alcohol in America in the 1920s. I will begin by going over the positive effects of the re-legalization of alcohol in 1933. According to the Cato Institute, the ban of alcohol caused several problems. Mark Thornton of the Cato Institute stated that, although consumption of alcohol fell at the beginning of prohibition, it subsequently increased. Alcohol became more dangerous to consume, crime increased, and became organized. The court and prison systems were stretched to the breaking point. By re-legalizing alcohol, America was solving many problems. It became safer to purchase alcohol, crime rates slowed down, thus leading to the community itself being stronger as a whole. The same can be said about the legalization of pot in Canada in 2018. Now that Canada has marijuana dispensaries, cannabis users now have a secure place to legally buy and have the gratification of knowing that their marijuana is not laced with any street drugs, since it is being sold from a government-funded organization. The legalization also reduces crime, since less drug-related misdemeanors are taking place across Canada, just like it did after the re-legalization of alcohol in 1933. Both situations made for more secure communities with reduced crime rate. Furthermore, I will discuss the negative aspects and outcomes after the legalization of pot in 2018 in comparison with how alcohol has affected the North American community after prohibition ended in 1933. Although the re-legalization of alcohol was an extremely beneficial thing for the community, alcohol still finds a way to cause problems even after the end of prohibition. Binge drinking continues to be an ongoing problem across North America and causes many people to drink to the point that they damage their own body. Alcohol Rehab Guide states that frequent binge drinking can lead to a host of long-term drinking complications. These more serious consequences are often overlooked because of the quick one-night occurrence of some binge drinking episodes. Individuals often assume that just because something is legal that it cannot harm you, which clearly isn't the case. The same can be said for cannabis. It is a common misconception that since marijuana is a naturally occurring in nature and is now legalized across Canada, that it is completely safe to use. However, it can cause permanent brain damage to the underage brain. American Addiction Center states that, unfortunately for teenagers, marijuana use can have more long-term effects. The teenage brain is not fully mature, with neurodevelopment continuing until at least the early or mid-20s. During adolescence, the brain is particularly sensitive to drug exposure, and marijuana use impacts how connections are formed within the brain. Other effects on the developing brain include interference with neurotransmitters and abnormal brain shape and structured volume. One major difference between cannabis legalization and the alcohol prohibition ending is that alcohol users tend not to experiment with anything heavier, unlike pot users. The legalization of weed could lead individuals to try smoking since it is now legal, but then crave a heavier high and try more dangerous street drugs, unlike alcohol users who rarely branch out to try more. Psychology Today states that when a person using marijuana associates with other people who use marijuana, then it is more likely that they will become exposed to other drugs and substances too. This means that there's an increased opportunity to have access to heavier substances. Especially with cannabis being legal, it may cause people to try it just because it's legal and then want a stronger high. Finally, I will go over my views on the legalization of alcohol and cannabis. After doing the research, I personally believe that both substances should be legal because it is safer for those to buy from a safe company and not off the street. We have seen from the past that even when these substances are banned, many individuals still choose to partake regardless of the government's law. So, it is more logical for the government to provide cannabis and alcohol for the general public so users can buy safely. Adding on to this, it also makes for a more secure community as a whole as crime rate slows down with safe spaces to buy. My only issue with the legalization laws is how young the ages are to smoke and drink. According to Adolescent Treatment Center, the brain does not fully develop until the age of 25. So why can we drink at the ages of 18 and 19 in Canada? Even America's age of 21, the brain is not completely done developing. In Canada, cannabis users can smoke as young as 19, which can damage a partially developed brain. I think that since the legal drinking age across North America has been 18, 19, and 21 for so long, that it would be difficult to legally change and would probably cause problems across the community. However, I feel like when cannabis was first officially legalized, that the smoking age should have been set a little bit higher, since there was no legal age already set and people didn't have anything to compare it to. In conclusion, I feel that there are more positive aspects to the legalization of cannabis and alcohol in North America than there are negatives, and it clearly does have an impact on the community when they are banned. Although the two substances aren't completely the same, I feel that the laws and standards surrounding the both are very adequate aside from the age rules that I talked about earlier. We can see history repeating itself for the better now that both are legal. And hopefully it will create a stronger community like it did in 1933, around the time of the Great Gatsby. Thank you for watching my video.